And welcome to this cast right here of ESL Conquest of the Gods, the 25th one. I am Majewell, and by my side this fine week we actually have a co-caster. Welcome, Gormeister.
Thank you, and I'm excited to be here. It's looking like there should be some interesting games, and of course, ESL having some teams sign up. I think we were actually not necessarily worried, but a lot of teams kind of coming in at the last minute there.
Last minute indeed. We had the open brackets that are still going on. A lot of teams were busy playing that one and prepared for that one, and then it took a little bit of time off. So we were not sure that we were gonna run tonight, but the interest became pretty high here when it closed in, and thanks to our amazing admin, Mr. Choo Choo Train, we actually have, I think it's 6 or 7 teams signed up tonight.
And it's going to be a fun set of games, and I'm really excited to see what the teams have to pull out because, like you had said, a lot of them, some of them may be a little bit tired, some of them definitely going to be jumping into it. And I mean, teams we've seen quite a few times, not only watching scrims, but in various community tournaments. So a lot to be said for these teams and their talent.
Definitely a lot of talent on the team. Might not be as much synergy. A few mixed teams with various members from various other teams have signed up together to try to claim those gems. In the first game, we're going to see Seda and friends actually take it up here versus Mihoy Minoi here. I think we can access the brackets. Here they are here. So we're gonna actually... No, wait. I jinxed it. I totally jinxed it. We're gonna go live with that game in either case. So we're gonna go ahead and start spectating right here and hopefully bring you guys this lobby as soon as possible. And here, wait for it. Hey, there we go. Alright, so seems there's actually been a little bit of a remake of the lobby right now, as there were blind picks, but you know, whatever goes, whatever gets the two right lineups sorted is going to work out for us right here. On the side of the blue team, that is going to be Seda and friends. I might just rename them Seda right here. Seda, there we go. Seda and friends. We have Setasphere himself, together with a Peaceman, a very known solo laner from this scene. Sham on the Zeus, also a very proficient mid laner. Suds, who usually plays ADC, actually playing Amaterasu this one. And Danceland on Ratatosker in the jungle.
While on the other side, we're going to have the Woodle going into the game as Scylla. We have Alacritic with that Thor, which is it's going to be very interesting to see how that's going to have the matchup up against what looks like to be the Thanatos, although it could very well be Danceland in the jungle with that Ratatosker. We're going to have Dr. Feel So Good with the Odin, so, I mean, Odin definitely going to be a very strong composition, especially when teamed with the Hu Yi on Jams, and Menace going to be taking Athena as well.
So, a very interesting difference between these two teams here is that on the side of Setasphere, we have this little mix. Seta plays right now in One Glance CC. Peaceman plays for Get Woke. Sham plays in No Quarter together with Suds, which is Peaceman's old clan, so they do have some synergy there. And then Danceland plays with Knilana, who just disbanded this week, actually. So they have a little bit of a mix here, but on the side of Mihoy Minoi, this is actually their main lineup. How do you think this is going to play in tonight?
Well, knowing that it's, I mean, like you said, it's essentially kind of a ragtag group of friends coming in on the one side versus a full roster that is practiced together. I feel like it's always going to favor the full roster. They're going to have a little bit more synergy. They're always going to be able to go together. Their composition itself works relatively well with each other. But on the other side, the players, they're good players. So they should be able to kind of adapt, be able to take some things in. If anything, the communication is going to be what's key, and the synergy between Mihoy Minoi is going to be what's going to be strongest.
Definitely interesting to see what they have brought out, since they are pretty newly put together here. I know the Voodoo has played for a long time here, but Alacritic is in a new jungle. Dr. Feel So Good joined as their support only about 2 weeks ago, as did Menace. So even though they have their full roster, they are actually battling 3 members here of the old quarter with Peaceman, Shams, and Suds, who actually played together for somewhere around 2 years, or like 1 year, a good year or so, I would say. So definitely gonna be interesting, and a little bit of a role swap here as well, since Suds used to be known also as Cypher, by the way. He used to play ADC on the side of No Quarter, but this time around he's gonna play it out on Amaterasu.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a big transition going from that ADC role and pushing yourself into the solo lane, because the mentality, I mean, a while ago it used to be kind of similar, kind of sit back, farm up until you get to a certain point, then you're making rotations over during team fights. But lately, solo lane has had a very large impact on the game. They've been rotating a lot sooner, especially with fire elementals. They need to be over there a lot faster. So Sud's gonna have a little bit of work cut out for him. But a lot of these players do play multiple roles, so I expect to see him show up. Maybe not quite as well as his main role, but he should be able to play just at least on equal footing.
Equal footing indeed. A little bit interesting here. Who is going to actually be the support on the side of Zeta and Friends? Because we have this normal dual assassin lineup with Danceland on Ratatosker and Peaceman on that Thanatos. And this Suds here, he might actually not take it to the soul lane. Do you think he's gonna play support?
If he's, I mean, with the Watcher's Gift, I could only really assume that he's going to be going for that support role, which, I mean, it has potential, and especially when you're an ADC, you know exactly what you want out of a support, so Suds should be able to make that up. So far, I've seen a little bit of aggression coming out from Zeta and Friends, but just not enough to find a first blood quite yet.
They were poking out a Lacertic indeed, who had to back and decided to pick up his Purification as the relic of choice after that one. Not want to get behind early, as we've seen happening a lot this day. Actually, if you guys watch the open bracket in the finals between Astral Authority and In Memory of Game, Snoopy actually got a double kill before the first minute of the game, which kind of sealed that first match of the finals, but no such thing today. However, there is an invade here. Berserk Barrage coming down from Alacrity, hitting 3 members on the side of Cetasphere. That's getting really low here. I believe they also popped that shell on the side of Cetasphere, but they are going to get away since Mihoimino does not have the mobility just yet to close the distance.
And it's going to be forcing Zeta to fall back. They're still going to be able to secure their own speed buff and probably their own blue buff. And Danceland really going to be relying on this Boomba's Mask healing. And I think this is actually really interesting. Based on the items and, of course, where they're starting, that's an Athena solo going in there as well. So Odin going to be taking up the support role for Mihoimanoi.
Very interesting choice. I think that having Odin support makes a lot of sense. If there was this was season 2 and you had a Hu Yi ADC, because they combo really well together, but also having an Athena in this soul lane is going to enable this this kind of rotation. She still picked up the teleport. How do you think she can use this to really out rotate Cetasphere's team?
Well, right now, she's going to have a little bit of a clear advantage overall compared to this Thanatos, as well as anytime she decides to go back, teleporting back in, is Zetasphere going to get soloed over on the left-hand side. Jam's going to take credit for that one. That's going to be the first blood of the game taken in the dual lane. But Athena, using her ult, she can rotate in, teleport back to the lane, teleport into a fight, use her ult to get around. So it's going to be very interesting, especially with the teleport. It gives her a lot of free roam. She has a lot of opportunities to kind of make an impact for her team.
That is definitely going to be a little bit of a challenge here. We actually see 2 characters on each team here with global presence, having the Thor and the Athena on the side of Mihoimannoi, and of course Ratatosker and Thanatos on the side of Cetasphere. Peaceman being aggressed here by both Menace and Alacrity, using that hog to stun Menace and peel himself just a little bit. Gets taunted into the shield wall again, but he's not as scared.
I mean, right now, using his passive, his healing up, Danceland going to be making the rotation in, and Menace is relatively low, so they could take advantage of that, but with the tower there, there's not going to be too much aggression so far on this side of the map. And now it's just kind of the standard issue, although right now, Alacritic taking a little bit more poke than I think he was ready to handle.
2 fights going on here, raining on the map, both in this soul lane between Peaceman, Alacritic, and Menace, but also in this dual lane here. Cetasphere is getting a little bit aggressive, wanting to get the return kill for that early solo that Jams came out with, and Jams actually had to back off. Became a little bit scary earlier, but he is now in safe hands together with his support, Dr. Feels So Good. So 3 minutes in here. There should be another about 2 minutes until we see anyone contest the gold here. Who do you think should have the advantage?
That's going to be really important. I'm going to put a lot of weight on the Suds because right now he's still sitting at level 3, whereas Dr. Feels So Good at level 5 already has that cage in the support role. They are going to have a little bit more zoning potential, especially having the Thor, having Athena being able to rotate over a little bit more freely than we'll see out of Peaceman on the Thanatos. So Mihoimanoi should have the advantage overall unless we can see Suds make like a huge impact ultimate, maybe to set up Sham, maybe to set up Dansland, but they need a little bit more coming out from their team, and they're falling just a little bit too far behind in farm this early on.
Mihoimanoi definitely have the advantage in terms of farm here, being a few hundred gold up here. Peaceman being aggressive on him once more by Alacrity and Menace. They want that kill, but they're not able to get it. Peaceman, who has that mark of the Vanguard to sustain himself, is surviving yet another gank. And now Setasphere getting pretty deeper into the jungle of Mihoimanoi.
Yeah, looking for some aggression. I think he wanted to come in and maybe steal away the red buff. He knew the team was rotating for it, but just a little bit too late. Not going to be able to find that. Right mid camp's going to be taken by Zeta and friends. And, I mean, still level 4, lowest level in the game. Suds just falling a little bit too far behind. Just now ticking over to 5. Will have the ultimate available, and now I think we could see some fights come online. But right now, Zeta Sphere is taking a lot of damage.
The 1v1 is going on in the dual lane here. Setasphere is whooping jabs, and here is the ultimate raining down from Dansland, getting the second kill of the game. 1-1 in this dual lane right here, and I think Seta got the assist there, so gold is almost even at this point.
Dr. Feels So Good not quite able to stop the back from Dansland, so everyone for Zeta Sphere going to be able to back, spend some of that gold, get themselves in a position where they might feel a little bit more comfortable. Now, with these Teleria boots online, Suds should be getting a little bit more gold and experience just all across the board. Should be able to farm up a little better, especially, you know, utilizing Dansland's, using the bump as passive, making sure everything can go well for them. I expect to see him start making a little bit more of an impact than he's had so far.
The team fight starts here in the middle, and as Alacrity has to ulta, he gets detonated down. Another kill on the board for Seta and friends here. Nice play and targeting by them. Nice synergy here coming up, both from Suds and Shams. Now Dr. Feels So Good is under a little bit of aggression from Dansland. Seta's team is hungry still. They want a little bit of more blood, not able to do so, and they're instead looking for a potential invade here.
Gonna be looking for that, and right now the one thing that's going down, and Dr. Feels So Good dashing into it, but you can't underestimate the amount of damage this Zeus is going to do. The ultimate going to be dropped down, and the ring is dropped, but that's not enough to save his life. Dr. Feels So Good is going to fall, and that's the third kill on the board for Zeta and friends.
Another nice kill here for Dansland. The aggression coming up from Mihoimanoi back takes out Peaceman actually in this mid lane. Now the Voodoo getting really low, escaping barely with any HP. Alacrity hitting a double tap, taking down Dansland as we turn 3-3 on the side of the kill board. Jams battling out versus Man, gets caught in the shield wall, but gets the nade back, and meanwhile in the dual lane, Solo coming out onto Setasphere, taking control back here in this dual lane.
I don't know if you saw it, and this is just something to emphasize how low that the Woodle got there before he was able to get out. Spectator on the right, like on the right-hand side in the team listing, actually had him listed as dead. It gave him a timer and everything. He had maybe 10 HP walking out of that fight away from Sham. But it's very important that he stayed alive there. That's going to allow him not only to kind of, one, come back into the fight earlier, keep getting farm up, but it's going to stop any real aggression. I mean, Sham right now, 2-0-1, has been getting a little bit more farm overall. So this is going to allow the Woodle to kind of catch up in that aspect. Right now, they're still on par in level, but any more kills to this Zeus might be shifting the weight over in favor of him every single fight.
So definitely has a little bit of more advantage here, as he is a little bit strong almost throughout the game, whereas Sula, she needs to wait a little bit until she has a little bit more damage on the board.
All right, now Peaceman is able to stay alive just barely under the tower. Menace is going to be chasing him down, and that fight with Zeta Sphere just got ganked around as well. There were fights all over the map so far, and really, so far, I think that was a 2-for-1 trade. Alacritic going to be the only one who falls for him at Mihoimanoi, but Dansland and Zeta Sphere both falling there, and it looks like we might see Peaceman fall as well. 3 all across the board.
Remember that time when you got soloed by an Athena in the solo lane? No, just kidding. Good job here by Menace. He's actually a very, very experienced solo laner, so he knew exactly what to do there. Peaceman also not having any form of purification available, not really having a way to get out of that taunt, also being without his CC immune ultimate. He fell down there, and that's actually the third kill on the side of this Menace here on Mihoinoi.
And that's going to be really good for him, sitting on this Athena. Like, normally Athena, we've seen her have a huge impact, obviously, from the support role. The taunts are insane for team setup. And for a while there, she was really big in the jungle. And the support role, or not the support, but the solo role in playing Guardians in that area has kind of been in fluctuation. Right now, Thanatos is definitely a big flavor pick. Ratatoskr a big flavor as a mid-fight going on right now. Danslam taken out.
Danson got taken out, and well, also we see Mr. He has to use his ultimate to try to get away there. Shams had no way to escape, not having his support close by to peel here. Rotation does come in late from Setasphere. There is the Amaterasu from Suds, trying to take out the Voodoo. Doing so, Desula now being 1-1 on the kill board. 2 members dead from... Oh! Wait there, hold on, I jinxed it. Jam's getting another kill from Setasphere, and the ganks are going warm here in all of the lanes right now.
Just mentioned was the fact that Athena's taunts can have huge impacts. Jams threw down the Suns, and Zetasphere was just on the edge of it, able to walk out. Menace, with the rotation over, was able to taunt it back in, confirming the kill. And right now, Gold Fury has started up. Peaceman has a Wrath, but he's on the wrong side of the map to do anything with it.
Suds is the only member of Setasphere trying to stop them from taking this fight. He does not have his ultimate, however, having to dash away. A little bit of a shield coming out here from Sham, stopping Mihoinoi from trying to chase and engage on Suds here in any way. We spoke a little bit of Suds' itemization a little bit earlier. He does have that water skift and he has his Salaria. Being an ADC, do you think this is a build that he goes to just because to kind of, you know, get those supporting wheels and those training wheels a little bit and not fall too far behind?
Definitely going to be, and it's obviously helping for him because before he was sitting down lowest level in the game, now he's finally above his opposition. Doctor feels good. So, I mean, it's obviously working out for him. He's been able to make more of an impact as he gets a kill in the mid lane. Right now, Thor coming crashing down, though. Dansland going to be at the next target. And so far, 9-9 kills. This is almost dead even.
Almost dead even. A lot of action in this game. Sham being aggressive from by Jams here. So it's trying to peel, able to do so with the hot body block. He keeps Sham safe from harm, whereas the Jams go down instead. That whole situation began actually with Alacritic doing his Thor ultimate from the jungle there on to Danslad. Good recognition here from Mihoinoi, but they ended up falling short here. And now we see, oh, as I said that, I jinxed it. Menace also getting the kill onto Setasphere, and like you said, dead even.
Yeah, keeping it as close as possible. I mean, even the gold is sitting at 1100, which 11 minutes in, it's a small advantage for Zeta and friends, just showing that the farm so far working out for them. Suds, I really think getting the maximum amount out of the Watcher's Gift and the Talaria boots, but I mean, 1100 gold, 11 minutes in with 11 kills to 10. It's very, very close. Either way could swing it. The Gold Fury being picked up by Mihoinoi, keeping them alive in this game. But the tower's pushing so far. Peaceman as the only one on the map, and right now he's getting a rest on her.
Yeah, he has a little bit of issues here versus Menace, of course. Whenever he does not have his ultimate available, he has no CC immunity to help him sustain here, putting out a silence, trying to juke the shots here from Dr. Feels So Good and Menace, having troubles to kill him, but there is the taunt, and that is going to spell the end there for Peaceman, who now goes down for the 3rd time in this game. And this opens up the map here a little bit for Mihoinoi to start invading.
Sham going to be able to finally get 1 kill onto the Woodle, and a beautiful Sanctuary going to keep him alive as Alacritic was aggressing on him under his ult, but he's still going to fall down.
Hashtag karma.
What you get when you taunt, you get a little bit too full of yourself. You don't have any wards over there to keep the vision, and he's going to fall.
Hot fighter in at the mid camp. 3 members from Mihoinoi versus 2 members onto Setasphere. Seta himself and Suds are there. Menace in the front line. Dr. Feels So Good choking tanking a lot of damage here for their carry. Like, it feels good does fall to Dancer coming in with the hot rotation. Now Menace is in trouble getting caught out, and Setasphere is taking him down as well. 15-13 here on the kill board of Zed and friends, and they're taking a small lead here.
Being able to finally pull themselves away. It's still sitting around the 1200 mark, but they've got an advantage right now because they were able to get 3 kills right there. They have a little bit more team fight on the board in this mid lane, although it's looking like they're backing off. Peaceman extending a little bit. Mark of the Vanguard breastplate going to be able to help them. That tier hammer should have done so much more, or that Thor hammer should have done so much more, just not quite enough to really hurt him because he's got this physical defense.
Definitely is one of the tankiest characters in this game right here. A little bit of good choice here by Suds as well. Has a lot of defensive items online here. Building in potentially to the Heart Ward here as well. It's going to give them a lot of nice sustain here versus the Voodoo on the side of Mihoi Minoi.
And the sustain is really going to be helpful because so far they've been bursted down very heavily. I mean, Zeus doing tons of damage. The detonate alone, but not to mention the fact that Sham has been placing his ult very aggressively, sometimes defensively, but for the most part he's been going aggressive. As Dr. Feelsgood going to drop the cage. Sham once again getting aggressive with that ultimate. Yeah,
the cage is actually really good on pointing on Shams, but he used his ultimate to kind of peel for himself. They say that damage is the best peel, and it worked out for quite a while there, but Sham did fall in the end. Suds now using his ultimate on Menace, getting the stun. Peaceman also with the hard execute, but Menace was not in any way close to the threshold being low enough to be executed. So that's just going to be a little bit of a damage here on Mihoi Minoi to kind of just make them back off and relieve a little bit of pressure here in the mid lane.
Zeta and friends are really, like, they want to push down. The unfortunate thing is that with Freya, as much damage as she deals to gods, as she is boxing down Jams and Dr. Feelsgood right now, going to go up into the Valkyrie's discretion, but not able to find the shots that he wants. And I think this is going to be a full-on retreat. The Crush coming out doing a nice chunk of damage. So Zeta Sphere, I mean, he wants to be aggressive. He can do a lot of damage to gods, but they don't have the physical attack that they will have on the side of Mihoi Minoi when it comes to towers that Jams is going to be able to put out.
I feel like the fight is never really over here because both teams have so much mobility to join the fight and just like flip the sands here and the force and the numbers especially a lot. And that's what we've seen with this fourth and back action going on so far. It looks like Mihoi Minoi are the ones in position to start Gold Fury. Not doing so instead. They're probably looking for a little bit of a pick here.
But right now, I feel like Peaceman is the kind of person they want to pick, although he's still sitting in this solo lane side. He's the only one that has the Wrath. It's down. The Gold Fury is essentially open for Mihoi Minoi as long as they can keep Odin alive. But that seems to be kind of a big order to really kind of push down, especially with Sham doing so well as he is on this Zeus. With Ratatoskr in the land, they really want to take out at least one person who has some burst, the Freya, the Zeus, or the Rat, before they put too much aggression on there. And Alacritic looking to get stunned out by Suds.
Using C's immunity, getting away from that with that purification. Ultimate coming out from the Doodle here, doing damage onto Suds, not able to close any kills. Athena ult coming down on top of Dr. Feels no good, so who also walls cages in Suds here. It's going to fall potentially to Menace. Shams using the Zeus ultimate to try to peel a little bit, but the members of Mihoi Minoi, they're way too tanky at this point.
Now Peaceman going to be able to heal with that Death Scythe, but that is not going to stop Mihoi Minoi from aggressing. Although they turn away, Ratatoskr going up into the air, Zeus is here, and Peaceman actually going to go up as well. They're going in for the fight.
3-man knocking around the dance line, forcing the ultimate from Alacrity. There is the ultimate execute from Peaceman onto Menace. The Bull now getting killed by Dancing as Alacrity kind of barks down with his ultimate, gets one kill, gets taken out by Danceland. A little bit chaotic here in the jungle of Mihoi Minoi. And 3 people fall on their side, 2 people fall on the side of Zetasphere. The question is, who is going to get the Gold Fury?
Right now, I don't think either team's really in a position to set up for it. Mid tower taking a little bit of poke, though, because Zeta and friends have been able to push up. Really, in that last fight, Peaceman, they could have had potential on Zeta to really have that Gold Fury if just barely had stepped a little bit farther to the right or the left, dodged that hammer L. Alacritic having the presence of mind to at least try and get the kill before he fell. Really, honestly, it saved his team. The lead being in the hands of Zetasphere right now, that allowed them to not fall further behind because the Gold Fury not an option at that point. Overall, I like the fact that it was just the slight little bit of movement, but it allowed them to pick up the kill and allowed them to honestly keep themselves in the game.
I am really impressed here by Zetasphere and all the aggression when he goes 1v3 in the jungle of Mihoy and usually gets away with it. This time he has to use his Sanctuary as he's being chased by 5 members of Mihoy. The cage coming up, but he still has his ultimate, able to almost escape with Valkyrie's discretion. Rotation is too strong from Menace and his teammates here. Dr. Feelsgood is joining the fight with that Odin launch here. Zetasphere is down, so they have 4 members versus 5 members of Mihoy, but still Zed are the ones aggressing onto this tower here. The Wool getting caught out in the left side above the mid camp, getting down to the hands of Shams here, gets another kill on this Zeus, now sitting 6 kills up here. Tier 1 tower are going to fall in this mid lane. Alacritic doing a lot of damage with his Berserk Bro, gets taken out by Peaceman. Tal coming up from Menace, takes out Danceland, who falls down. 2 members dead now on either team, and Zetasphere is gonna, they're gonna cut their losses and try to back off a little bit. But as I say that, Peaceman is overstaying a little bit here in this jungle.
He's going to use that Death Scythe, though, to heal himself up. Jam's now getting low, but I feel like Peaceman doesn't have enough damage because of the defensive build he's been going, and now with so many members surrounding him, he's going to end up falling. Sud's looking to run away. He's tanky enough and speedy enough that he should be able to get out, but he's turning around to get some aggression onto Dr. Feelsgood. I'm kind of confused about this.
Well, Suds is the main ADC. He used to be called Cypher, he used to play a lot of Rama. And, ADCs, when they see a target, they get a little bit hungry and they want to go for it. So he's definitely showing Dr. Feels so good. Some aggression there, trying to potentially poke him down. But like you say, playing a support here with all these defensive items, neither Peaceman or Suds are really able to threaten to get any kill here.
Mid tower falling in that last fight, though, did let Zeta get ahead a little bit further. They did, I think it was a trade of 2 for 2 overall, so being able to get that tower kind of lets them come out as the net high. The Zetasphere will still be pushing a tier 1 tower in the left-hand lane. That Gold Fury has been sitting there and has been tempted. Nobody has been able to be in a good position to start it for a while, though, just because each fight that has been going on has resulted in just too many people falling. Speaking of falling, Zetasphere looking to go into his ultimate just to avoid the 3-man gank on his lane.
No, since he used his ultimate, he has no way to escape this cage right here. He gets a shell pop for him, actually able to sustain there. Good kill coming out from Danceland going in the midst of Mihoy to try to divert some attention, having to use his Sanctuary as well. Tom coming out in from Menace, the Wool with that Zulot able to... No, the Jam's being awarded with the kill here on Sham, so the Wool does not get that Zulot reset that actually would probably have gotten his team pretty far ahead right here.
The entire time, I feel like Zeta, their team fight has been limited by the fact that a lot of these have been 3v4, 4v4, or 4v5, but Peaceman this entire time has been split pushing, so is Alacritic, but Alacritic going to get stopped off by Zetasphere. He's going to be able to chase him down and doing huge chunks of damage as Freya, but the ult forced away, and that should be a free ticket out. Alacritic going to be just skin of his teeth out of it.
I believe that Alacritic has used something along 4 out of his 5 of his ultimates to actually escape a little bit of aggression. But that's the kind of thing you can do whenever you have these global ultimates on your team. You can get a little bit out of position, you can try to sneak or be cheeky about some sort of objective or a kill, and then safely just ult out.
And we might be seeing something very similar to that happening with Peaceman over on the right-hand side. He's still fighting up against Menace, but we're going to actually see Danceland fall down. The cage has been dropped. Zetasphere is trying to do anything, but the cage holding him back, not able to get it. Shell was actually popped with the fear of aggression.
Zetasphere just escaping the double tap there from Alacritic, putting a lot of return damage here in this mid lane, trying to relieve a little bit of pressure here on his tier 2. Members of Zetasphere are lingering there, but now they're finally moving towards the Gold Fury.
Now, this is definitely the time that they can take advantage of it. So far, Mihoy is getting poked out constantly. They don't really expect the aggression. The fact that the mid lane's pushed up, they're all sitting back and farming that. And the burst right now is good enough from Zetasphere and friends that they're just going to be able to burst that down for free. Nobody on Mihoy is rotating over until like just now, and they're spotting out Sham.
They do not have enough wars on the map here. Sham being aggressive on by 4 members here. Oh, Minoi. Looks like he might fall. Putting down his ultimate just to get a little bit of the turn damage. Jams being awarded once more with that kill. Now Setta's getting a little bit out of position. Is able to escape. Oh, the double tap, but not able to escape the ricochet. Another kill for Jams. Stanley takes out the wood here in the backline. Mensa are still in the fight as his Doctor feels so good. But he's getting taken down by Peaceman with that side. Now a lot of damage from Jam on the side of the members of Sphere. The fight is still raging. Peaceman getting another kill there on Alacrity. Jams having to use his Sanctuary. Taunt coming up from Menace. Nice peel there from the solo laner. Now Jams is trying to escape away here. Menace has his dash. Needs to hit it on Sud to get the slow. Is able to do so. Sud does not have any mana to really dash away and chase Jams. But it's Peaceman does, and he's able to get that side, and he's able to shut down Jams here. Now Menace is the only remembering member here from Mihoi Mino, getting respawned by Peaceman and Suds here, who wants the kill. This is the solo lane fight. Peaceman remembers all of those ganks and kills that's been happening in lane. Goes up in the ultimate, gets the execute up, and Menace goes down. That is a D side from Set and Friends.
Normally, after a Gold Fury, there's the argument of if you lose 2 people, is the Gold Fury worth it? Being able to kill all 5 members, even though they lost 3 of their own, they gained that net on Zeta and Friends. And overall, that was just glorious play from Suds and Peaceman to keep that aggression, even though, for the most part, Jams should have been able to outdamage them. That physical defense on Peaceman has definitely come in handy and paid every single penny with that last kill that he was able to get.
Good team play here also from Sada and Friends, able to close down all of those kills. If we look a little bit at the graphs right here, Sada and Friends are sitting 5.5k up in XP and about 4,000 gold here at 24 minutes. How big impact do you feel that that has at this stage of the game?
Right now, it's going to have a little bit more impact than I think Mihoi Manoy would be comfortable with. I mean, the Woodle having to taste the fact that Peaceman and Studs as this combo are going to be able to just kind of outdamage him, even though he's been doing well. I mean, he's sitting at 1-6 and 13. He's not had the most impact just on his own, but the IMO monsters have been very strong. But right now, splitting level 20, level 17, and the gold in favor of them, Peaceman and Suds leading the way for their team.
Fight has started here underneath the tier 2 tower in the dual lane. Ultimate coming out from both Dr. Feels So Good on that Odin and also Jams on that Huyi. Menace and Dr. Feels So Good are pretty tanky here. They're trying to defend their tower. Suds getting the kill of Jams, however. Taunt coming out from Menace, but I don't think Mohammed can take this fight anymore. Dr. Feels So Good is goes down, and so does Menace here after the nice group. And good team play synergy here from Set and Friends, who are now aggressing out to the Phoenix in the dual lane.
They should definitely be able to get this Phoenix, and depending on how they want to split their aggression, they look like they want to go for the
look at the 3-man Sick. Nice skills there from them. Coming out with the Scylla, getting the kill at the Peaceman, reset his own, almost getting the kill into Suds, and that could have spelled the difference in this fight here. Sphere is also trying to do a lot of damage here. Alacrity has respawned. Titan is getting lower and lower. They will get the kill on the side. I think it's Titan. Oh god, the Titan is alive. So is not Shams, and that is gonna be a D-side from Mihoi Minoi on Sphere, but the least possible health left on the Titan.
I think the term overcommitment is the word that we should use there. I saw, like, they had potential, right? They had the potential to go for the end, but Woodle showing his worth. I mean, he was just 1-6, earning 3 kills in that. That Sikkim was probably the perfect setup that he could have had using the Yama Monster. He gets the kill on the Peaceman. He gets the reset. Like, Woodle just played his brains out, and that put his worth on his team right there. Even though he's still 4-6, those 15 assists and those 4 kills have been very important to his team, and now they're able to start up the Fire Giant. They should be able to get this for free, no worries whatsoever about Zeta and Friends.
Support Scylla, boys. New meta. New meta. You gotta try it. Working out really well here for Mihoi Minoi in this game. When the Rule got his first kill of the Ima monster, but then could not quite close the HP of Sudster to get the second reset. I was really wondering if Mihoi Minoi had their day's counter here, but the respawn coming out from, I believe it was Jams or Alacritic on the side of Mihoi Minoi, was ultimately able to push back the members of Sphere, who maybe wish they would have focused a little bit heavier onto that Titan.
And not only focusing on the Titan, but like you had mentioned, we were kind of worried about Mihoi Minoi losing there, but had that I'm a Monster not done enough damage, had they been just a tick lower, that could have been the entire difference of it all. As Athena going to be ulting away from the fight, we're going to see Thanatos come down, and right now Dr. Feelsgood, Alacritic coming down onto Peaceman, trying to take out this Thanatos.
Shell being forced here on the side of Zeta and friends. And with these ultimate, I just want to point this out, with these ultimate that Zeta and friends had on the Peaceman and on the dance line, if they were to dive this Titan,
that's definitely something they could do, although with Peaceman falling there, and 5 members strong, I feel like Mahoi Minoi might have the presence of mind to sit back, or at least keep a couple members sitting back in the Titan, but that's absolutely something they could do. Once Peaceman comes back, I mean, he's got 45 seconds sitting in the penalty box right now, so he's going to have to wait it out. Zetasphere going to get aggressed on by Menace, but they still have some good team fight. They still have a lot of burst, and with their teams able to burst over, the sun's coming down from Shams. Actually might be able to spell it, but Sham gets a kill.
Zetasphere able to escape the Hu Yote going up in the air with his ultimate. Now Dance Line is going up in the air trying to get the kill onto Jams, able to do so. Dr. Feelsgood and Menace are still in that fight. The Woodle is there as well to try to help peel and put some damage up. But here, 3 members of Zetasphere are still in there in the fight, but they're getting a little bit low and they do not have the Fire Giant sustain. So they're potentially choosing to back off here.
And I like the call to back off. As much burst as they have, as much damage as they're able to output, they just don't quite have enough to fight this kind of scenario. And like you said, they have Fire Giant. Menace has a ton of health, being as tanky as he is on this Athena. Zetasphere actually going to be taking some, and now Dr. Feelsgood here. The Bird Bomb not going to be able to connect, and the Athena ult coming down. The ring is dropped. They really want this kill.
They want to kill onto Zetasphere, who do not have his ultimate. Using his Sanctuary instead, there is the taunt from Menace, such trying to put a little bit peel in for his ADC, not able to save him. Dr. Feelsgood getting pretty low by the execute try here from Peaceman. Nice shield up from Menace, putting a lot of damage onto Suds and Peaceman. They're trying to get the kill on Dr. Feelsgood, but he launches in and gets a return kill instead. Dancer comes a bit late to the party, able to get the kill eventually on Dr. Feelsgood, but 3 members of Zetasphere are now down to only 1 member on the side of Mahoi Minoi, and both Phoenixes has respawned here.
The team fight's really starting to favor Mahoi Minoi, their tanky frontline just being a little bit too much. And while Peaceman and Suds have been trying to have the same impact, there's just something to say about a frontline Athena getting those taunts, being able to set it up. And I mean, Menace in that last fight was able to take so much damage as Alacritic once again getting soloed down by Dansland in the jungle. I feel like this entire game has just been fights all across the board.
Fights across the board here also, so with Shams in this dual lane and getting pretty caught out. He wants to kill onto Jams and not able to do so. Puts the ultimate onto Menace, but Menace is pretty tanky. They will use these basics to try to get Jams here. A little bit of interesting meta here that I want to mention is that Alacritic actually used to be the jungler on a team called Knilana, and now Dansland as of late has been their jungler instead. But team, so there might be, you know, a little bit of personal struggle there. Maybe Dansland wanted to take out Alacritic, showing that, you know, he's the most the better jungler of the 2 of them. But Knilana has now disbanded, and to my knowledge, Dansland is extra free agent if someone is looking for. I believe he prefers to play mid lane.
With that, though, all across the board, right now, I mean, Zeta and friends have been kind of overcommitting to every single fight. I mean, even that last fight with Sham, it seems like they're kind of falling under the fact that, you know, early game they were very ahead. They were able to fight in kind of 1v3 scenarios, come out of it alive and maybe with a kill. Right now, that's obviously changing because Sham, while he's trying to do everything he can, is still falling in those fights. But a free Gold Fury, more gold in their pockets now with a 8,000 gold lead might be enough, especially with Dansland falling on the right-hand side.
We saw again Dansland being a little bit baited, wanting to get the kill once more on Alacritic, but Alacritic had some friends close by, and Dansland found himself overextending just a little bit. Teamfight goes on in the middle, and Alacritic going down, gets stuns on the Zetasphere, getting chunked down. Alacritic being awarded with the kill with the Berserk Barrage. Shams getting the return kill on Alacritic instead here. Suds and Peaceman are chasing the Wool in the back. Underneath executes Threshold, trying to dash away. The ultimate of Peaceman is up in the air and available. Champs getting the kill of Dr. Feels So Good in the end. Peaceman not being able to execute someone. The Wool now using his I'm a Monster to try to escape, getting aggressive on by the member Setosphere, but he has increased movement speed in his ultimate. He's able to get out of there. Now the ult is raining down from jabs on this Hu Yi instead. Peaceman getting caught with the taunt from Menace. Suds being in the action instead. Now Peaceman has to go up and heal a little bit. Suds and Champs are still fighting here versus Menace and Jams in this building. Jams getting a little bit poked out. The taunt is really good from Menace on to Suds and Champs, but they're able to sustain. The poke coming out from Shams is really strong here on the members of Mihoi Minoi. It's a 3v3 battle now as Peaceman has healed up a lot to this fight. The shield is down here. Now Suds is ulting in this backline, aggressing onto the Wool, not being able to connect with the stun with anyone at all. Menace coming out with the hot taunt onto Suds, able to dash away from there, and this is going to be tier 2 tower falling here in the mid lane.
And Jams using his Sanctuary there, perfectly being able to avoid all of the damage from Peaceman, who just took a huge chunk coming out from the Woodle, forced to fall back once again. Right now, his team was in a position to really fight for this Fire Giant that has respawned, but now they might just want to bait it out, and right now with Dr. Feels So Good, they might be able to do it just fine because he is going very deep.
Going very deep, but he has the Menace Athena ult with him. Shams being aggressive bomb by the Berserk Barrage here. Dazzle coming up with the hot knock-up peel. And Shams having to use Purification. Peaceman getting a kill. Dazzle getting killed off to Menace. Peaceman getting another kill onto Dr. Feels So Good, getting way too low here. Now 3 members are dead on the side of Mihoi Minoi. The 5 members of Setosphere, they're chasing Jams and they're out for blood.
They're going to be following him down, and even if they aren't able to find the kill, which they are going to be able to easily confirm with Zetasphere getting the nice whoop into the air, they're looking for this Phoenix Holocritic once again, trying to do his best for his team to save them. The only one left alive, but that is going to be a right-hand Phoenix falling with Sham pushing up the mid lane. This is very likely to be a mid-Phoenix falling, but Holocritic going to be able to land an ultimate and do a lot of damage, and once again, the Titan's going to be under scrutiny.
Alakri recognizes it's going to be hard to kill them all, trying to kill one of them, trying to use his stun, and using his Berserk Barrage to do any sort of damage he can on the side of Setosphere, but at 33 minutes, the respawn timers is a little bit longer for Mihoi Minoi this time around, and Setosphere able to take down the Titan before any one of the Mihoi Minoiers are respawning, and with that, they also take the game.
I will admit 100%, I've seen scenarios kind of like that, very similar, where teams they get the right Phoenix, they immediately go for the mid Phoenix. And that's honestly what I was expecting to see out of Zeta and friends, but they recognized the timers on Mihoi Minoi, the death timers were a little bit too long. The Woodle still had 1 second at the very end, so the soonest one, or the quickest respawn timer they had wasn't going to be in time to be there, and I like the fact that they made the call, go for the Titan kill, and once they had it, I mean, like you said, they get the victory, they're going to be able to move ahead.
Move ahead they will in this crazy game here between Zeta and friend and Mihoi Minoi. We definitely saw a lot of synergies onto both teams here and all these global ultimates. I kind of felt like the fight was never really over.
Yeah, it seems almost like it started like essentially the first blood fight, which was a solo Zeta-Fear being able to get that, was the beginning of essentially the longest team fight in history. But I mean, when it comes down to it, like, I feel like it's, I mean, looking at the slash lanes, like, it's really interesting to see the fact that Zetasphere, you know, Freya called one of the hard carries, like just the hardest carry in Smite, really. And yet Zetasphere going 3, 9, and 10, he did a ton of damage in every single fight, but he wasn't able to really confirm the kills. He was the target for the most part from Mihoi Minoi. They wanted to take him down, get rid of him as quick as possible, and I honestly kind of feel like that might have detrimented them a little bit because they didn't focus on the Ratatosker. They didn't focus on the Sham. And, I mean, Peaceman, at the end of that, he was able to kind of run free for the most part.
Peaceman is known as the carry on the side of No Quarter, even though he is no longer on the team. He's able to put out a lot of meaningful kills here, also coming out with those hot 15 assists. I felt like Zetasphere was pushing the envelope a little bit in that jungle, sometimes going in 1v3 and 1v4, but Dansland with that Ratatosker ultimate was most of the time able to do a quick rotation, do a knock-up, and get a cleanup for his team.
And ultimately able to come out with the victory. I, again, really love the call of aggression after that last Phoenix. I thought for sure it was going to be not necessarily a slower paced game, but of course, with all the fighting going on, I hadn't been watching as closely the Death Timers as it was obvious that Zeta and friends were, because they were able to kind of push that to the point where they were. And I mean, taking that victory, even though there were some solo kills, even though it was back and forth for a lot of that early game, they were ultimately able to get the gold fears they needed, win the team fights ever so slowly, and push themselves to the point where all of the objectives they needed were gone, and they had the perfect scenario for a win.
Good, impressive plays indeed by Zeta and Victory. That is going to close it out for this first game here that we're broadcasting for the night, guys. We're going to look for another one to bring you guys a little more action. So stay tuned, and we will be back in just a minute. We are back here, guys, with the upper semis here. At this point, we are going to see Don't Ban. We might just call these Don't Ban Scotty, because that was the name, and they're gonna versus, I believe it's Title 6. There we go. We're now in the upper semis of this game in ESL, the Conquest of the GOT number 55. Dom and Scotty here, we did see them earlier today playing in the open bracket, actually. They opt to pick up the Raw on the side of Title 6 here. Specials picking up the Fafnir, and Omnionyx now hovering over the Scylla.
Having that sustain is something that has been very important. Banning out the Sylvanas and the Terra from both teams really is going to be kind of telling into the fact that sustain is going to allow you, I mean, you get into a team fight, you get bursted down, you back up, you heal up. Raw, probably the strongest healer after Terra, after Sylvanas. Terra not favored as heavily lately as she used to be. But Fafnir is actually kind of a flavor pick. I feel like we haven't seen Fafnir played much at all lately.
Fafnir was nerfed to the ground not long ago. Definitely seems like personal preference here from the side of Title 6. Now also lock in that Thanatos has been very popular lately.
Thanatos really kind of showing some flexibility, could go to the solo lane, more than likely going into the jungle. He's had a very large impact from both either way. Scylla being picked up, we saw last game, that can do tons of burst. It can potentially save the game for your team if you're able to snap back, but it can at least stop aggression on the Titan. Thor and Freya, still, I mean, huge impact gods.
Freya, Arctic actually has been very successful on this Freya. We played a little bit of in-housers for those of you in my community stream who participated in those, and he proved to be very strong. Also, they're picking up that Thor, and Thanatos, they have a little bit of a similar role here when it comes to their presence on the map.
Yeah, both having semi-global ultimates, being able to kind of span a huge chunk of the map just by going up into the air. Thanatos, I want to say, having a little bit more impact against tanks with that execute, whereas Thor, definitely going to be a setup god, going to be able to help set up these raw snipes that I expect to see come out with the stun that comes from his ultimate. Jingwei being picked up is definitely not surprising at all, because she has been easily one of the top hunters, just because even if you don't look at the damage she can output, look at the fact that she can come back to the lane in just a couple of seconds.
Yingwei is known to be the hunter that has the most pressure of them all. Even if she gets poked out, she can safely return under her tower, and with the help of her passive be back before the next wave. She also has both a CC immune ultimate and her own knock-up and agility to escape, and she's also one of the safest god here in this game. And whoever is going to play the ADC, I'm not sure, on the side of Title 6 are going to have a pretty hopefully good laning face here versus Arctic, who is actually carry on the side of Don't Ban Scotty.
Going to be very interested to see how this Guan Yu is going to be played, because it looks like it should be a support Guan. I'm not entirely sure how that's going to work fully, although it has had some major success. Guan having tons of healing, and in a composition against Thanatos, that burst heal is definitely going to be helpful, getting people out of the execute range, try to push them over and allow them to survive that. Of course, if the stun connects, a Death Scythe can easily kill someone squishy like a Freya, like a Ra, so it's going to be very heavy on Don't Ban Scotty here to kind of push themselves into a position where that execute won't be as high impact.
I'm a little bit interested here on the side of Don't Ban Scotty. I actually confirmed right now that their name is actually Don't Ban AK. Psycho 6 is the jungler on their main team here. I believe that Curls... Oh, I mean, he's the solo laner. I believe, however, that Curls also and Medieval are all solo laners here, if I'm not mistaken, on the side of Don't Ban Scotty. So I'm pretty curious here, who's going to go where?
It's nice, especially in this kind of scenario.
Especially in this kind of scenario.
Having that ambiguity going into this game, like not knowing, is it a Guan Yu solo? Is it an Airling solo? I mean, could it even be a Ra solo, like if they really want to push themselves, because Medieval's going to be on that. That forces Title 6 to be in a position to kind of second guess themselves. It might affect their build a little bit, not as heavily as it will later in the game. I mean, if this is a Thanatos solo, which I'm not entirely sure yet, because it could still be an Odin jungle. There's just a lot of ambiguous picks really across the board. I was like, yeah, it's going to be Thanatos jungle, Thanatos solo, but either way, if it's Odin or Thanatos, they're going to have to think a little bit more about their build, how they're going to be high impact, what exactly they're going to be focusing on. And I kind of expect it to be an Odin solo. I can at least say that for title, but I mean, this Thanatos could do a lot of work for their team anywhere he goes. So really, it's kind of up in the air. Both of these teams have drafted really well.
I kind of like the thought of having a Thanatos in the jungle because he can utilize that global presence that he has with his ultimate and put a lot of early pressure on the side of Don Bascari. However, on the side of Don Bascari, we also have the Thor here, and this one is actually, usually I would say that Thor is the jungle character on this roster, but Legendary Leah actually main support here. So I'm a little bit curious how this one's gonna turn out.
A lot of people kind of switching around roles, and like I had said last game, a lot of these players are proficient at several roles, but it'll be interesting to see how exactly they handle being put into something that's not exactly their comfort zone, not something they can just kind of focus in on. For a lot of these kind of players, being taken out, like you said, Legendary Leia, being this support player, going Thor, I mean, if they really want to mess with me, they'll make this a Thor support. But expecting that to go into the jungle, it will be a little bit different. We might see a little bit more mistakes, something just a little bit less comfortable, really, for Legendary Leia as a player. But for the most part, Thor is very, very staple jungler, very high impact. I mean, like you've been saying, his ultimate can do so much. If Medieval's taking this round to the mid lane, that's going to set up a lot of snipes, doing the damage, being just set up for his team all across the board. Thor should be able to do a lot.
Thor is one of the very few characters in this game that actually has 2 stuns, both on his wall and also on his ultimate Anvil of Dawn, and that is going to be pretty impactful in this game. Thor is usually a character that is picked up to dive Raw or a healer in the backline of the other team, but since Title 6 is picking up this Odin potentially in the jungle, do you think there's a Thor is a countermeasure to that?
It could possibly be to do that. I mean, again, Thor, I feel like is going to have just a slightly stronger impact all across the board than really anybody other than maybe the Thanatos on the side of Title 6. But with the Thanatos and the setup that he brings in, I mean, Thanatos being able to set up the I'm a Monster, being able to set up anything for maybe this Fafnir, for Jean Wei later on when she starts rotating over with these crits, there's a lot of kind of teamwork really infused in Title 6's overall composition. And with the Odin, that 100% healing reduction is going to be what kind of makes him the biggest impact for his team in team fights against Ra and Guan specifically. If they can capture them, get rid of them early on, I feel like their team's going to have a major advantage. Otherwise, I have to give it to Thor having that just distinct advantage of just genuine setup for his team.
The first items have been bought here. Legendary Dia catching up Logan Ace in the jungle using that Berserk Barrage, losing more mana than Log Aids, or however you pronounce it. Sorry if I'm mistaken here. Than what he's actually taking in terms of health. Also having that sight, most likely as his first skill level, he's going to heal that up. Psycho 6 and Curse here, the 2 solo laners, 2 of the solo laners on the side of Damaskari. They're setting up for an invade.
And I really like Legendary Leia was actually using that Berserker's Barrage, gets the proc off of the Teleria boots to allow him to get that little bit of extra, as Loge is going to have to use the death side to heal up, but now he's falling low. Berserker's Barrage and Psycho Stick's going to be able to pick up that first blood with ease. Now this invade should go smoothly.
Should be a pretty easy way from here on out. Legendary Leia also zoning Infusicate here on this Odin. The speed buff has been started here. Infusicate is rotating there, not able to do anything. Now the members of Dombanskar are also looking to get this blue buff here in this soul lane to complete their invade. Title 6 are, taking the safe route, taking their backs instead, and now I believe the fight is instead going to continue at this right side mid-harpies.
And right now it's an Airlang versus a Thanatos, and I feel like that's just not going to work out too well, especially with the backup support that Odin will have. Curl's just going to go to the lane and help out Medieval. Medieval already sitting at level 2, but right now Curl's finally being able to proc over. They're going to have a second ability, and Fire Imp's going to be under contention. And I like the fact Curl's turned away. Instead of splitting that 4-man way, they decided to split it just 3 people. And I think that's actually just like a beautiful split between them, recognizing the experience and the gold split between them, and knowing that splitting it among 4 people is just not as worth.
Not very worth, but also it's very important to get all your members to level 5 as soon as possible and even out a little bit so that everyone has their ultimate. So the team fight, and especially in the 3v3 in the mid lane, gets online as soon as possible.
Jungle camps being picked up, and Don't Ban Scotty finally able to pick up their own. And the rotation, the experience, everything that they're doing so far is just going to be able to put them ahead. I mean, already, very early on in the game, it's only 1,000 gold difference, really, between the two. That 500 experience with the First Blood doesn't mean as much, but clearing the ways, making that skyrocket now sitting at 1,200 experience, that's a pretty big chunk for this early on. I mean, it's only 2 minutes into the game.
But it's going to matter in who gets their ultimates first here. Medieval sitting at level 4 here, highest level in the game, together with Arctic and Cat Meow on the side of Tile there. Curls taking a little bit of poke, wanting to back off here before the big fight comes. A little bit of poke work going on meanwhile in the soul in here between Infusticate and Psycho 6 here. Infusticate putting a lot of damage with that launch on the Psycho. Psycho, however, is countering with his blades, and it's pretty even so far.
Right now, I feel like Psycho 6 has a distinct advantage overall in this solo lane fight just because he's been able to get both of the blue buffs. Having that mana regen allows him to heal up as much as he wants. I mean, as we can see, he's already taking over, not necessarily full health, but he's going to be there very soon, and he doesn't have to worry anywhere near as much about his health pool and his mana pool as we will have to see Infusticate deal with. And I mean, already, like, once again, getting aggressed on the shield being burnt down very fast by the Tidal Assault, and the ult actually came out.
Ult came out from Psychic, but Infusticate was able to jump away from that one in time, and that is one ultimate down here on the side of Don't Ban Scotty, and this can matter here.
That's also going to, I mean, that's going to affect their team fight, but with this invade, it could affect it depending on how Logades decides to do any of his pathing, although he's just going to walk away, Medieval doing just enough damage to kind of ward them away. And this is going to be a free second invade on both of the buffs. Don't Ban Scotty are going to get all of the experience, and now Legendary Leia going up into the air.
Infused must know that they are there. He must have gotten information from his team to know this rotation is coming. Getting stuck to using the lounge and using his own Ring of Spears ultimate here to get away with the least possible HP, able to retreat to this mid lane. Cyclix probably wishes that he still had his ultimate, because if he did, he would be able to close this distance here. Minions putting out the damage, and there is a hard rock, and the shield comes out just when the snipe does, and then the launch just before the pin lands. Good escaping from Infused Kid, and good spider sense, noticing exactly when those skills were coming out from Don't Ban Scotty.
I was questioning absolutely how well Title 6 was communicating with each other, just because it seemed like that gank was so well telegraphed. So many people walked into that right-hand jungle and then never showed their face again. But the fact that he got out of that alive, the fact that he was able to go from the solo lane to the mid lane with virtually no health, shows the fact that while, you know, Legendary Leia, while they have these ultimates that can close such large gaps, if you use those as an initiation against a target that is probably relatively easy to lock down, it's going to kind of bite you backwards, and that worked out very, very well for Title 6, although they still fall behind on experience and they're still falling behind on gold.
They're about 3.5k XP behind right now and about 2,000 gold, and this matters a lot already when the 5-minute mark, because whoever has the most items is going to have the advantage in the first gold fear prize of the game. Some boxing going on here in all of the lanes right now. Arctic in the duo lane versus Cat Meow, trying to get the kill, going up to the sky. Cat Meow uses his ultimate as well, the air to try to get some distance to Arctic, is able to do so, but the ultimate is coming out from Thor here. Legendary off the mark, weakest style. Curls, however, is able to get the lockdown with that pin, and with the Berserk Barrage, Legendary Leia is able to secure another kill here for his team.
That's going to be another successful jungle buff invade here for Doban Scotty, being able to take even more experience and gold away, plus picking up that second kill is going to skyrocket them, now setting 3,000 gold up and 5,400 experience. They've essentially been getting 1,000 experience a minute right now, and it's looking like it's going to be more as a beautiful snipe setup. Legendary Leia going to get the last hit, but Medieval bursting down Loggates.
Here's a team that definitely has their communication in place here. Meanwhile, in this solo lane, Psychosic eventually, after a long poke war in this fight, Psychosic finally gets the solo kill onto Infusticate here, able to get a lot of pressure and potentially take this tier 1 tower.
We actually see, I mean, Psycho Stick's having a distinct advantage. The minions might be able to do enough to be able to steal this. He doesn't have enough health and mana to be able to stay there comfortably. And so I think the tower just barely not going to fall there from the minions. But another jungle buff in. Big Curls is alone this time, though. And right now, Thanatos trying to do as much as he can, but they're going to fight and force the ult.
Fighting in force, Kurt's getting a little bit low, but he's not underneath the threshold, so Loggates is not going down with that Thanatos also, just letting the enemy continue. He wants his buffer, he's fighting back here, but he finds himself outnumbered for the third time here in this lane. Medial now juking all the skill onto him from Loggates and Infusticate. And here's the ultimate coming out from Legendary onto this Odin on the side of Title 6. Heal coming out as well. Here's some Scylla damage coming out from Omnio. Next fight is going on here. Of course, getting real low. Snipe coming out from Medial. Scylla time a monster connecting, not able to close the kill here. Curse getting really low. Use the knock up from the turtle to get away. That is the stun hammer from Specialist, but no falls. All goes onto that, and all members of Domba Squad are able to secure safely. Meanwhile, in this duo lane, solo kill from Arctic.
Right now, leading 7 kills to 0. Legendary Leia looking like she might be the first to fall, and that's going to be the kill. Specialist picking that one up, but Infuscate going to be the one who's going to fall in return as long as Psycho Sticks can hit the one last auto or ability. Not able to get it, and that's going to be successful. I want to call that a success. That's really big for Title 6, just because they're so far behind at this point that they are losing all across the map, and now it looks like if they have a good fight, they might be able to turn this around and pick up another kill.
There's the jump from Infuscate. Psycho is getting really lower. Fafnir ultimate coming down. Loggates missing the side onto Psycho, getting slowly bursted down by the Specialist ultimate in this dragon form. Ultimately does fall, and 2 kills now on the side of Title 6.
Now being able to find 2 of them there, it's going to be a relatively large fight, but that being said, for 8 minutes in the game, this is such a large deficit for the team. 10,000 experience, and that is all true experience, and 6,000 gold. And that's with 1 Gold Fury being taken, in fact, during that last fight.
1 Gold Fury during that fight. Nice sneak here from Domban Scotty, now finding himself so far gold up at this point that it's going to be a little bit hard for Title 6 here to come back from these items that Domban Scotty is going to get online very soon.
It's going to be a slippery slope downhill as Loggates once again getting caught out. A huge amount of damage from the double tap. Legendary Leia going to be able to confirm that one, leading it now 8 kills, picking up the right-hand mid-camps. And with this, I mean, it's sitting 9 minutes into the game, and Medieval just did half of Omnix's health with just 1 ability. The snipe not going to be able to connect, but it's still going to be a kill.
Nice juke coming out here from Omnix for the longest time, both getting away from the raw ultimate and I believe also the ultimate from Legendary Leia. He does fall, however. A little bit too many members of Domban Scotty here who are diving in underneath his tier 1 tower. They are backing up Nottingham Tower. Meanwhile, in the dual lane, solo kill here from Arctic on Cat Meow, who's had his ultimate up, so he could have escaped there. But I feel that this Freya here is starting to snowball a little bit out of control.
And that is probably the one thing you don't want to see. In fact, Freya, most of the time you want to see your jungler sitting over there trying to stop Freya from getting anywhere near your level. Let your ADC get ahead. Once Freya gets ahead, though, it's going to spell disasters. Right now, Loggates on the Omnix just taking a ton of damage. Going to get taunted down. Curl's going to be able to pick up the kill onto 1. Not going too deep yet for the other, although right now, diving tier 2's Domban Scotty are not afraid to go deep.
Curse and Meteor getting a little bit low here, but here is the ultimate from Psychosic coming to help them. The heal is huge on the side of Domban Scotty. They're all almost fully healed after that raw. Legendary Leia going up in the air on this Thor. Lockdown going on to the title. Legendary Leia misses yet another ultimate. Specialist, however, goes down. to the wall and to this Celeste beam onto Medieval. Now is the Infusticate jumping away here after putting down his Odin cage, because there is not much that he can do versus this force of nature coming out from Don Mascati right now.
And Doman Scotty looking like they want to aggress on this tier 2, waiting for the minion wave, and I like that just because right now, I mean, they're levels 11, 12, 14. They're still not able to do that much damage. It's 11 minutes into the game, but they're being able to take this down. We're going to see Infusticate can jump in, just not able to do anything because Freya running rampant in the backline.
Right, level 14 versus Log 8 and members of Tile 6 who are only level 7. She's having a lot of free fire. He's being chunked down here on his own. He's been trying to sustain for the longest time. Valkyrie's discretion coming out from Arctic, closing the kill on the Odin Soul Lane on the side of Tile 6. Now Arctic actually getting a little bit low. Execute coming out from Logit, not able to get the kill. Then Leah gets the return of the Logit. Here's the Sanctuary coming out from Arctic, but Camille wants the kill, not able to get to. Yes, gets it in the end, being chased by Legendary Leah, who's now out of mana and out of position. Sagus coming out with a hot Guan Yu rotation. Legendary Leah has nothing left, but he stays in the fight because the members of Tile 6 are so low that he's still able to have an impact. Crush coming out. Legendary Leah surviving again with 1 HP. Omnipotence not able to close the kill because Legendary Leah uses the Sanctuary coming in hot. And that's going to be 93 on the kill board for Don Pascati.
I can feel the heartbreak from Scylla just then. Right as it felt so good to watch. It was like, okay, I'm finally going to be able to pick up a kill. Like, even though your team, you know, you're falling behind, you're going to be able to get something in return. And then you see the Sanctuary get popped, Teleport coming through from Legendary Leia as well, going to be able to come through. Infustigate going to be falling down. That is 4 kills right now. Specialist, the only one standing between them, but the kills timers are just so low on the side of Title 6 that they will be able to back in time to defend the Phoenixes. Not much to say about this Tier 2 that Medieval has been pushing this entire time.
When the raw is split pushing, boys, that's when you know you're getting a little bit pushed right here. Tier 2 tower does fall. 2 towers are left here in this dual lane, but we're putting our attention again to the Soul Lane here. Omnia next on this Scylla, able to barely escape here from the aggression coming out from Don Banscotty. Meteor is there, and he's level 15, so he's not really scared of this Odin and jumping him because he's so far ahead at this point. Legendary Leah is always close if needed to put a little bit of appeal here. Cat Meow and Infusicate a little bit scared to engage here, and Infusicate letting his Cat Meow ADC getting just picked off in the backline, even though there's 4 members of Tile 6 here. Legendary Leah being done, getting out with the Thor Hammer Teleport, but the execute is up for Logates. Never mind, he doesn't hit it. Berserk Burst coming out from Legendary Leah. He has to die here. Silhouette is missing. He's now caged in. Finally, Omnionex is getting the kill onto this Thor that he's been looking for the longest time. But in the left side of the map, Arctic is taking the Gold Fury.
I'll admit, I was getting a little scared there that we were going to see Legendary Leah walk away with 1 health, which would be hype for No Man Scotty, but it would have felt bad. Logate's going to get taken down by Psycho Sticks. He's going to get rooted, crushed, but just not doing a lot of damage to the Guan Yu, who's able to heal himself up anyway, sitting 4 levels ahead and up 8 levels on Specialist. So right now, the fight definitely leaning very heavily in favor of Don Scotty. And so far, it's looking like we are just... I mean, honestly, at this point, we are patiently waiting. Don Scotty are so far ahead that we're just kind of waiting for them to get the opportunity to end the game.
I believe they're having their time or their life here. Sacrifice for 1v3 the members of Tile 6 for a while before Curls is joining, especially coming out with the Dragon Force, but he's only level 8 versus level 15 warriors on the side of Don Mascati. Arctic coming out with yet another solo kill here in this duel lane. Tier 1 tower falls, only Tier 2 tower is remaining from the side of Title 6. We see Meteor a little bit out of position from his teammates, but and now he's actually getting caught in the cage as well. Nowhere for him to escape the cage. He sits in his heel, not getting healed since he is stuck there. Curls coming out to help him a little bit. Shield coming out from Infusticate, doing a little bit of damage on the Curls here, but Infusticate is way too low, and there's the ultimate from Legendary Leah coming down and closing the kill onto him. Log is trying to fight back, going up in the air, and Execute not able to do so before he falls. Sagas is taking a lot of Titan damage, but he has to heal and is able to sustain himself, and there is a double heal coming out also from Medio with that Raw, and then we now have 5 members on the Mascati, and they're pushing for this right-hand Phoenix.
Already able to take the first one at 15 minutes, looking for the second one already, and the heal is going to be just strong enough to allow them to do this. 5 members strong with Arctic coming over and being able to make that rotation. Sitting at 5-1, the Freya I feel like is going to make a big impact, but at this point the level difference is just so in favor of the blue team that it's like it doesn't even matter. Arctic going deep into the base and is able to leave with a kill. 28-4 right now. 2 Phoenixes down. Fire Minion's going to be pouring in, and the Titan is looking like it's going to be the next target.
I believe the members of Donbass actually don't look that interested in the Titan at all. They want more kills here. Old engage coming down once more from Infused Kit, putting a lot of CC on the side of Donbass. Omnix barely escaping, not able to do so. Arctic gets the kill with the last hit of Valkyrie's Discretion. Infused Kit getting lower here once more, up in the air. Ghost Logate able to secure the kill out of him as he's almost in the fountain. Meanwhile, is still there. The legendary real range down gets the kill. Triple kill here for Arctic on the side of Logates. And now the members of the are, finally doing a little bit of damage to the Titan. Or are they? Specialists getting really low as well. Arctic is trying to get another kill onto Cat Meow. Arctic being level 19 versus level 12 Jingwei here. Titan is going a little bit lower here. Meteor wants to end the game, is trying to end the game. He's tagging the Titan since his snipe hit all the way to the backline there. However, he was able to escape just in time before the Titan healed. And there the Titan goes, and that's going to be the game for Donbass versus Title 6.
Fire Minion's able to close that one out. Medieval, like you had said, pushing as hard as he could while he was there. Had to leave, but the minions coming in, clearing the wave was Legendary Leia, I believe. Allowing that to happen, allowing them to come in. Pretty much changed the tide of it. I mean, finished the game off for them. Fire Minions becoming minions. Yeah, it was, I mean, don't ban Scotty. Like, they took advantage very early on, that invade that happened, the first blood, and it just seemed like they held control the entire time because of that.
Definitely had a lot of C's coming out here, both with the curls on this Erlang Chen, Saga 6 on this Guan Yu, and Legendary Leia with the double stun on that Thor. Also, shout outs to Arctic for getting a lot of kills here, solo kills actually, in this duo lane, able to snowball from that, and a little bit of extra also shout out I would give to Legendary Leia and Omnionex who were fighting for a long time. Omnionex finally able to close down the kill. I think that even if that was the only kill that Omnionex got that game, I think he's pretty happy about it.
And there's definitely a lot of the team fight, especially early on when it was very close from Title 6, was well placed. It just seems like Don't Ban Scotty on that side were able to kind of take advantage of the individual areas. Of course, these are more, I want to say, a little bit more seasoned players. We've seen them in the top of a lot of tournaments all across the board. So having that practice under their belts, they were able to kind of push that and take that lead just extensively over Title 6. But all in all, I mean, it was well played from Title 6. It just seems like it got a little sloppy early on. And eventually there was a point where they needed to stop going in, stop getting into the 1v1s, and it just didn't quite happen in time.
They had a hard time even securing their own jungles. I was suffering with them a little bit. Infusing was, he was trying. He was pretty even in the beginning in this soul lane, but he felt like the stronger player, I would say, on the side of Toxic. But he got a little bit bullied and shut down and was not able to have the same kind of team impact as of late, since he was a few levels behind.
Yeah, but with that, I feel like we will be going into the next game shortly. I think we're going to have to take a short little break while we get that set up. But once it's set up, we will be getting into it and bringing it to you as soon as we possibly can. So stay tuned.
And we're back here with the game, guys, between Seta and Friends and Don't Ban AK, which was the name that they did sign up here with this. The majority of the members from Team Don't Ban Scotty that we saw in open brackets. First bans coming out with the Thanatos and Sylvanas, and on the side of Ban AK, they're taking away the counter healing with the Raw and Ratatosker.
We're going to see Jingwei first picked, though, for Zeta Sphere, so they're going to be able to come into this one, I want to say, a little bit stronger. He's going to be able to come out. Earlier we saw him on that Freya. If he can have anywhere near the same impact with Jingwei, assuming he's still going into the ADC role, then I feel like it's going to be very strong. Right now, Zeus being hovered over and Khepri locked in for Don't Ban AK.
This already shows right here that Don't Ban AK has a little bit more respect for their opponents than they might have for the last one, since they do pick up that Khepri who is able to revive the Zeus should he get caught in any form of danger. On the side of Seven Friends, they are also locking in this Erling. It's been one of the recent topics as of late, and they're now hovering Janus.
So far, it's looking like a pretty strong composition overall. Erling, earlier we saw have a lot of impact. Yanis, Sham, if he can play Yanis the way that he played that Zeus earlier, then he's going to have a very, very beneficial game for him and for his team overall, just because he did so much damage. And that's going to be locked in. And I feel like Yanis is one of those mages, I think me and you have talked about this before, where he's just he's everything you want. He does a lot of damage. He has great setup. He has a slow, something that also speeds up his team. And that's not even including his ultimate.
Janus definitely having a lot of setup and team utility, both with that slow or speed buff, and of course his portals and his through time and space ultimate also allowing for very quick rotations here. Going to be interesting to see what kind of team impact Sham is going to have on this god. On the side of Don't Panic, they're now picking up the Lucky, also a top pick lately, and the second ban phase coming out here. Seven Friends are target banning potentially the Coronas, and on the side of Ban AK, they're taking out the Sobek.
You know, thinking about the fact that there's a Khepri on Don't Ban AK, Thanatos being banned out means that there's no execute to eat through that revive that Khepri has. But Ao Kwang, which is of course what AK would stand for there, is a little bit stronger, I feel like, in some scenarios than Thanatos. Of course, Thanatos being very strong in the early game, Ao Kwang maybe taking a little bit longer to get online, but still an option here. And Dansland was playing Jungle Ratatosker earlier. He could potentially go for this Ao Kwang to get that execute for his team, to get that little bit of damage. We haven't seen him in a long time. He hasn't really been that prominent lately, but that execute is still the only other one other than Thanatos that can eat through that Khepri ult.
That could definitely be one of the picks that Seth and Friends should look to here to try to counter the support on the side of Don't Ban AK. I know that Dansland usually mains middle to my knowledge, so he might not have as deep god pool as most other junglers. On the side of Ban AK, they're now picking in that Rom, a pretty popular pick versus Jingwei in that dual lane. And now Seth's friend, oh wow, seems they heard you, they're hovering down Kwang.
They're going to be flopping over. Right now it's on the Moor again, which, again, a lot of plays can be made with her. Ymir being picked up or hovered over. I'm going to go ahead and talk about the other one that hasn't changed 3 times and look at Amaterasu. Suds played her earlier and had a relatively impactful game. It was a little bit rough early on just because he didn't quite have the experience and gold in his pockets that he needed. But once he hit level 5, once he was able to kind of pick up the flow, his ult and his damage really, really helped out his team.
Definitely, they skyrocketed and hit a peak in that earlier game. One pick it remains here on the side of Don't Ban AK here, and they should be looking for a potential jungler or a solo laner depending on where Legendary Leah is going to go. It seems that they have chosen one. The stream is a little bit laggy here. Sorry about that, guys. Hopefully it should brush up very soon and get back to real time here. On the side of Seth and Friends, they have completed their roster with the Jingwei, with the Ymir potentially in this support role. Amaterasu might go to the solo because I believe that should be an early chain jungle.
And this is another kind of instance. Earlier when we were looking at Zeta and Friends, we were having a little bit of difficulty kind of guessing what it was, who was where. A Ymir jungle is going to be very strong against the Zeus, the wall, the stun, everything really coming out from Ymir's kit. Going to be beneficial because Zeus has no leap, no real getaway, other than the fact that, like you had mentioned earlier, his peel is his damage. If he can do that, if he can burst down Ymir fast enough. But when you say the phrase burst Ymir, it feels wrong in your mouth, and it's just because he has so much health.
Ymir was buffed as of late since he kind of fell out of flavor for most supports earlier in this season 3 here. They did give him the buff where he does, I believe, a 10% damage reduction onto any enemies who has frostbite on them. So he has been buffed, but he hasn't seen that much success. But more and more teams are kind of finding him as a counter both to Zeus but also to Sylvanas.
Yeah, with Sylvanas actually being banned out this game, he's going to have a little bit, I want to say a little bit more free roam. He's going to have some difficulties because, again, a lot of the teams, or a lot of the members on the team of Don't Ban AK, I mean, you have a dash, you have a leap, and then, of course, Khepri being Khepri, not necessarily going to care about the Ymir damage that might come out. And with the damage, though, coming from Yanis, from Jingwei, Erlang, Amaterasu, there's a lot of potential, really, to kind of burst down, burn the Khepri ult, get it on somebody like Zeus, and then continue this engagement. I expect to see Zeta and friends kind of continue that. I feel like the Ymir is going to be very good for their setup. It's going to allow them to set all of the damage up, possibly freeze Khepri out of the fight just to confirm a kill, but really, it's going to be up to them. I mean, once we get into the game, they're going to show me exactly what their plan is. I don't think I've seen Ymir played in a long time, let alone Ymir thrown into the jungle.
Ymir is this kind of flex pick, which in casuals you could see him both sometimes in the jungle, but usually also more than support. I've actually seen him a little bit lately in that soul lane. I believe he was played by Variety during the SPL fall season here and actually met a little bit of success, but now it seems he is indeed going to return into that jungle, or is he? We will be finding out that in a little bit of a pause, guys, since we're gonna get the stream underway here and solve a little bit of technical difficulties, but hold on tight and we'll be back with the game in just a minute. And we are back here with the game, guys. Finally being able to bring you the final matcher of ESL Conquest of the Gods, number 25 from North America. Sorry about the technical difficulties, and thank you guys for staying with us thus far. Like I mentioned a little bit earlier, we are in the finals here between the blue team here, which is going to be Set and Friends, versus the red team that is going to be Dompan Scotty. And we've seen both of these camps kind of impressing a lot in both of their earlier games.
Yes, and from both of them, if I remember correctly, and of course this is kind of the meta right now anyway, there's been a lot of invades as right now it looks like we're going to be seeing Zeta and Friends going deep with 4 members. Peaceman going to stop just for a little bit in there. Kind of stagger stepping their way over to the speed buff. They're going to patiently wait. Zeta Sphere, I feel though, was a little bit caught out. Now we're going to see Legendary Leia walk around.
The invade meta has been very strong lately, and it continues also here since we are playing a few of the last games of Season 3. It is one of the last tournaments since Season 4 starts on Tuesday in only 2 days here. Set and Friends getting deep into the jungle, almost cut off a little bit. The 5-man group up is coming from Dompan AK to show that Set and Friends does not have much to try to catch and seal in the jungle, but still, you know, they're moving forward here.
Zeta Sphere and Sham going to be fighting with Medieval and Arctic over the left-hand mid camps as we see yet another invade coming out on the right-hand side at the speed buff. Free's going to be good. Psycho State's going to be taking half damage, full damage, a 3/4, not quite enough, and I actually think Legendary Leia was able to secure the speed buff.
Legendary Leia sitting with that yellow ring around him. Probably pretty happy with that secure. Now the blue buff is being engaged on. Well, Psychic having to get his lounge jump to get him out of range for Set and Friends, and that seems like Legendary Leia and Psychic are just gonna let them have this buff since they do have the number advantage here in this soul lane.
And the Fire Elemental is going to be spawning in about 2 seconds. It seems like we're going to be seeing right-hand camps taken by Sham, while the Elementals are going to be split up amongst other members of Zeta and Friends. Although the portal going to be used, Zeus, if there's one thing he is very, very great at, it is mid-camps and mid-camp secure.
He is very slippery indeed, able to both throw his vortex through the wall, but also safely retreat to that mid lane with the hot rotation through the wall. And I feel like the mid laners who have these kind of skills that just go through, like the Solar Crush, like the Isis Wing Gust, or the Spirit Ball, they have a little bit of an advantage here in securing these mid camps.
Yeah, especially with characters, I mean, like Zeus, with the chain lightning being able to pretty much bounce the lightning around. Of course, if he wants to, he can detonate, but for the most part, that's not needed because it does enough damage between the 2 targets while it bounces around. As now Psycho Sticks once again getting ganked on. Suds is over here, Peaceman is over here, but it looks like they might not be able to get the kill. In fact, it looks like they're seeming to be a little bit more passive than normal. Now, Peaceman definitely getting aggressive.
Psychic having to use his shield to make Set and Friends back off here as he was getting lower and lower, and the mirror was ready from Peaceman to be thrown. On the side of the rosters here, we actually can confirm now that this is going to be a Ymir jungle.
Yeah, and it's one of those things. Earlier we were talking about the fact that a lot of these players play multiple roles. Dansland most notably recently playing a lot of the jungle and taking this Ymir back in there, so he's going to have a lot of gank potential, I feel, specifically because Zeus doesn't have any leaps, he doesn't have a dash, he doesn't even have a movement speed buff to kind of get him out of there. Like you had mentioned in the last game, the best peel that Zeus has is pretty much his damage, and with Ymir, damage doesn't tend to hurt as much just because he has some of the highest base health in the game.
Damage is going on here from Set and Friends onto Dompan AK in this duo lane here. Set and Arctic both sitting at level 5 here. That's when things can get a little bit juicy, but nothing comes out of it. In the mid camps, however, we see Medieval chasing both Champs and Danton here, able to put a lot of poke onto them, and this is a little bit of a specialty from Zeus.
The wall going to come out, stopping Medieval from going too far, and we see the pin come down. With 4 members of Domban AK there, I just feel like Zeta and Friends making the right call, not aggressing too deep. They're probably going to have to give up these left-hand mid camps, although with the chain lightning coming out, There's potential for a lot of damage if the detonate gets used, but I like the fact that Medieval's holding onto it, waiting to see when he can exactly get a kill, not using it a second too early.
The first blood is still up there for grabs for whoever is able to burst down any team member on the opposing team here. On this Ymir jungle, do you think this is also a little bit of a counter pick to the Odin cage?
It definitely could be, because once Odin drops that cage down, you're going to have Ymir able to ult, but through space and time, going to be used. Sham barely getting out with his life. And right now, Zetasphere is here, but Arctic going up in the air looking for the snipes.
Arctic wants to kill onto Sham, not able to see him. Sham is hiding on the other side of the wall here. Meteor Mima going down to Zetasphere here for first blood. Now Suds is a little bit in trouble, but he gets reinforced by Zeta and Sham here. Chasing the kill. Curls going down, getting airstrike by Zetasphere. Suds being awarded to kill with that pin, however. Now Arctic is in trouble on this drama, not having any mana at all to dash away. Getting walled by Ymir, getting frozen. That's gonna spell the end there. And 3 kills on the side of Zeta and Friends, who's now invading the red buff.
He ended up falling down there, but I really like the fact we saw Arctic. He popped that purification, knowing that Zetasphere was going to be going for the knockup immediately. In fact, using that early kind of prolonged his death. It stopped it from happening as soon. Gold Fury started up 4 minutes, 40 seconds being destroyed. And that is going to be not only 3 kills, first blood, but also the Gold Fury. Zeta and Friends are definitely very, very comfortable with this game right now.
That is what Ymir does as well. I had a little bit of a discussion earlier today because someone picked Ymir in the open bracket today, and they actually used his ultimate to secure the mid camps. And I was kind of thinking, that's a pretty good use, because there's not that many opportunities that you really use Ymir ult in the early game.
Yeah, early game, it is essentially, I mean, objectives. That's usually what you see it for, you know, the mid camps, the Gold Fury. Later on, we might see it used for the Fire Giant, but for this game, I feel like it's essentially going to be used Fire Giant, Gold Fury, maybe if the Odin Ring is down and Dansland thinks he can do a lot of damage. Because the problem with the ultimate is really just that it has to charge up to do more damage. The longer you charge it, the more damage it does. And for a lot of abilities, especially when you look at the side of Dovan AK, they have an ability to get out of that damage as Curl's forced to ult himself.
Curl's getting super low. They're having to use his revive on himself. Goes down. Meteor Mima getting low. And there's no Kepi ult left to save him. He goes down to Peaceman here. 4-0 on the board. Zeta and Friends are getting pretty low here, though. They're getting poked out by the medieval Zeus. Even if he went down, he got a lot of return damage. Odin Cage coming out here. Don't ban AK. They want a little bit of return kill. Suds getting real low, getting taken out as well. First kill on the board from Don't ban AK here, and they're looking for another kill because Arctic goes up in there and finishes off Danceland.
And Zetasphere getting relatively low, going to use his ult to try and disengage. And I feel like that tower will be just enough space and just enough damage to stop anyone from Don't Ban AK coming in. But a nice trade, 1 for 2. Really, overall, being able to pick up 2 kills there is going to be able to kind of close the gap that Zeta and Friends built early on. That Gold Fury not necessarily completely paid for yet, but the gold now sitting in favor of Don't Ban, or the gold still in favor of Zeta and Friends, but the experience is in favor of Don't Ban AK.
That is going to matter a lot here, as well as we are soon coming into the mid-game. Saxix here securing his own buffs. No more invades going on at this point. Fight goes on here in the mid lane. Curls getting frozen out of position here, getting taken down. That's coming out with another hot Ymir. Suds blocking the way from Curls to try to escape that. And down he goes. Another kill here for Danceland, who now sits comfortably with 2 kills up here for Zeta and Friends.
This Sham looking like he wanted to make the rotation over. Really, just all in all, Zeta and Friends kind of pushing themselves, again, little by little, finding their footing, getting the lead that they need. Another invade coming out. Zetasphere trying to steal away a red buff, but with Arctic and Medieval here, I feel like he might be in a bad position.
Zeta is a little bit outnumbered here. He recognized it, but he does not want to give up the kill with putting his persistent gust there. Now he's getting actually crippled by Arctic, having still able to dash away there. I believe the cripple maybe actually missed him in that case. Puts on the explosive ball, trying to get a lot of damage onto Arctic, using the Atric to escape as Legendary Lee has joined the fight. Arctic going up in the air, able to secure the kill with those Rama snipes. Now we actually see Suds here trying to chase Arctic a little bit. Arctic is low on mana, so pretty healthy. Sud's not actually trying to aggress. Instead, the fight goes on here in this mid lane. Dombanek able to secure these mid camps here, and they might look for a potential invade here.
The right-hand mid-camp's taken up. Amaterasu now sitting in kind of a bad area inside the cage. Ultimate U's not going to find the stun onto anybody, and that's going to be a kill. Two-man portal, Unstable Vortex not going to be able to do enough damage, and now Sham forced to purify away just the root because Legendary Leah is not letting up the aggression.
Sham almost able to save his team, and not quite, and using his escape as a consequence. Now we see the Badminton Dombank Aki getting real low. Miro trying to escape here. Freeze is coming out from down and gets another kill onto Legendary Leah to his name, and then with the help of the Frostbite doing 200% damage onto Meteor, a double kill, and this Ymir is raging here, 4-1.
So far, doing very, very hard work. Dansland doing a lot more. Honestly, I kind of was iffy about this Ymir in the jungle because, again, it hasn't been used in a while. It hasn't been something that people have really thought is very strong, but like you've mentioned, it's going to be good, relatively strong counters for certain things on the side of No Ban AK, as well as just good setup against this Zeus, good setup if he can get a 2-3 man freeze, which so far Dansland has been able to do almost every single time.
Hey, I'm a fan. I'm a Ymir fan. Let's go. I remember my Ymirs I used to play jungle in season 2. They would build like Void Stone and then Obsidian Shard, like third item. It was a glorious, except for when they would blink in and kill me. Of course, that was not very funny. Now Zed and Friends, you know, they have the gold lead here with about 1.5k, and they might look to another Gold Fury soon.
They're definitely having the, I want to say, like the better fight over the Gold Fury because of Dansland having that ultimate with you. Dansland, a beautiful wall, gonna be able to stop the pluck from Curls. That is the kind of play. On the other side, though, Zetasphere gonna be able to get a solo kill on the Arctic, but there are 3 members running very strong towards him.
And there is no ultimate on the side of Zetasphere. He needs help from his teammates, getting plucked by Curls here with the abduct now. Legendary Leah going down in the portal. Dansland going up in ultimate again, not closing the kill on Legendary Leah, who jumped away. Curls preemptively using his ultimate. Probably wanted to put it on Legendary Leah, accidentally put it on himself since Legendary Leah jumped up. And that is all that is needed. That is all the pressure that Zeta and Friends are needing to take to try to start this Gold Fury. Unless Meteor has something to say about it.
The Medieval sitting here, he does have the ability to throw out his ultimate. He's going to drop it, but it's not going to be enough. Every single time, right as the ultimate gets dropped and I see has taken the gold for your Sham just portal right towards Medieval.
Oh, he wants the kill though! He had his one portal. He could either choose to try to get out or not. He tries to get the kill onto Medieval, not able to do so. Medieval having a little bit the shield from that Kepri to sustain himself. Nice return kill there, and you know, it's pretty even match so far as we see another fighter over the speed bump. No, it was actually invaded and secure here by Legendary Leah, who likes his speed buff. Sud's putting a little bit of poke back here. Full war going on in the right side of the jungle.
We're going to see the right-hand mid-harpy started up. Sud's going to be getting aggressive against Curls, not able to secure anything there. Going to get into a small little boxing fight, but ultimately it's going to become out as a wash. Dansland, however, going to be joining him. And they have potential to fight, although they're going to have to lock down and burst down more damage. And both of these targets being as tanky as they are, I just don't see this going the way they plan it to.
For those of you who watched the World Cup not long ago, actually Emilito on the side of Energy tweeted out their kind of S-tier list from the World Champion, which god they thought was best. And actually Nike was on top there because he said that killing her is almost like killing a raid boss, and that's what we're seeing a little bit now. Teamfight has started. Arctic taking out Dance, and no kills for this Ymir. Air striking away is Zetasphere on that Yingwei. The members of Don't Ban AK are not chasing Zeta Friend. A lot of damage here onto Peaceman. Going up in the air is Arctic trying to close the kill, but no one is really that low. Sham's just standing inside of those snipes, just eating them without problem. He knows he's not gonna die. Members of Zeta Friends has to back off a little bit, and this is a good time for Don't Ban AK to secure their own buffs this time.
Being able to back off, secure anything, take it off of the map so that Zeta don't ever get the chance to kind of move forward and grab anything. And right now, I mean, experience still sitting just slightly in favor of Don't Ban AK, which is very big, but the gold lead sitting about 2,000 gold in favor of Zeta and Friends right now. They have enough for maybe just a tier of an item going forward up, but right now, all in all, Don't Ban AK have been able to hold their weight in this. They've been winning team fights lately. They're being able to secure mid camps, and Suds and Dansland gonna actually get caught out.
So it's getting pretty chunked here, having to turtle away from that situation. Dansland on the Shamir does not have the same carry potential as other junglers, like for example Ratasker has a little bit more mobility. Dansland is a little bit limited in that way. We now see a rotation in the right side jungle here from Don't Ban AK. Not sure what they're looking for.
Right now, everyone, it's kind of coming out as a wash. There's not that much on the map to really beat Grab. Zeta and Friends really having the advantage just because they've been able to take the Gold Fury a few times. Kills 8-6, Gold still in favor of Zeta, but ultimately right now the game is, I mean, honestly, it's relatively even going all out. I want to say Dansland can have a large impact, and right now we're looking at maybe a gank onto the dual lane. A lot of people sitting over here on this left-hand side, but Arctic, knowing a little bit better, going to be sitting back, just kind of playing it safe and making sure that nothing goes wrong.
He does not have any wards in his jungle, but he has a little bit of a spider sense, recognizing that there might be someone lurking. So he backs off safely to his tower, and Sudsure there does not get any run for his money at all. Instead, safely goes to his friends here. We see Psycho6 actually, I believe, teleporting here to this fight. He thought it was gonna be about to get messy here. Legendary Leah getting ready to gank as well. Don't Panic moving forward in positions here. And now the freeze coming out from Dansland, who then just kind of walks away, getting abducted, getting caged in. The members of Don't Panic, they want to kill it. Dansland going into that Ymiro to try to get return damage. He gets it up and does not do a lot of kills here. We see Champs here and the members of Seven Friends trying to escape here. The members of Don't Panic are still pretty healthy. The rotation comes in for Seven Friends to try to secure their own speed buff here. Legendary Leah has to walk away from that speed buff, going to Suns in the end. That sucks. It could be in trouble. No, but he still has his lounge and he safely gets away, except for a few shots from the Fire Giants.
Sham here to speed his team up. They're going to move in. They're still aggressing. Psycho Stick's going to take a little bit of damage. A nice jump, though. Should be able to disengage him. And right now, it's just Don't Ban AK are running away. Although they're looking to turn around the fight. They're going to continue his aggression. No, Sham going to be able to get out. Going to take some damage. Sanctuary used just to stop the snipes, but it's not going to be enough.
Nice snipe from Arctic coming out. I feel like Sen and Friends, they were trying to look for a target in the jungle of Don't Panic, but they weren't able to kind of decipher which one they wanted to go to. They kept switching and they get poked out. Meanwhile, the members of Don't Panic were able to just kind of remobilize and move themselves within, so that the target was shifting instead of not able to close any kills. And Overstandard there visited a little bit, and after return got 2 of their members killed there, and tier 1 tower falls in the soul lane.
Zetasphere going to be going for his own jungle buff, and right now with Don't Ban AK backing away, he should be able to secure it without any trouble, losing the tier 1 tower and ultimately losing this last team fight. Even though Zeta and Friends kind of overextended, they were in the enemy jungle, they had a lot of advantage coming into that, but like you said, Don't Ban AK kind of being able to regroup and figure out what they were doing as a fight between Dansland and Psycho Sticks comes out. But with Zetasphere, this might turn around.
I love the cheeky play here coming out from Dansland with that wall as soon as someone walks up to him, and with that freeze as well. Now Meteor getting walled off and frozen. It's his turn, using the purification, trying to get away from there, popping his ultimate, goes onto Suds, gets really low down, and with the Ymiro once more, able to do a lot of damage on the Curse and Legendary, and not able to close the kills. Peaceman being a little bit out of position, but he is Amaterasu, so he is pretty tanky and pretty safe here. So one more kill on the side of Don't Ban AK, who now actually has lead and is trying to gang this Zetasphere.
And Zetasphere backing should be able to get out in time, but right now Don't Ban AK looking at this Gold Fury should be able to secure it through space and time's not, or it is available, but I just feel like they're not going to be able to move the team. They're going to be able to get it. You see it shot through, but it's just a second too late.
Just a second too late. Almost nice steal there by Shams, who did actually place his portal perfectly with that through time and space not, but the timing was a little bit off there. And now we've actually seen a shift in this game, as Don't Ban AK are ahead in XP, but the gold is dead even.
Gold finally being dead even. I mean, Doban AK has been behind in gold this entire time because of the gold furies that they've lost. Medieval taking a lot of damage, Curl's taking a lot of damage. The ultimate from Kepri used to revive Medieval, but it wears off, so Medieval now in a zone where he might die, and it looks like it's going to happen soon. Sanctuary used, but that last auto going to be able to get it. Now Curl's in a little bit of trouble.
Curl's getting really low, taken out by Setosphere as well. Legendary Leona being grass trying to himself take out Pisma stuck in the cage, but Amaterasu is one of the quickest characters in the game. However, his dash gets aborted. He's still able to use his movement speed buff to keep some distance to the side of Dombanake, and now his friends comes and reinforces a little bit, so I don't expect that much more action coming out here in this mid lane. Or is they Pisma does the lazy back, and while his teammates disengages, he does not, and that is another free kill here for the side of Dombaneki. 2 members dead on either team. Fight goes on here. That's not with that Ymir ult once more, doing a lot of damage onto Arctic. Now chasing Legendary Leah. Arctic meanwhile gets the kill onto Suds here, getting low himself. Seta able to close the kill onto him. The 1v1 is now between Psycho6 and Setosphere. Psycho6 having to jump away from that one. Not want to take the fight versus the level 16 Yingwei. Now, instead he is putting the cage on to Danceland on the remaining member of Seta and Friends. Seta now launching Explosive Bolt, trying to get the kill on the Kurt, but Medieval has joined the fray with that Zeus ultimate, and with the Detonate gets the kill on the Seta, able to punch that aggressive. Kurt's getting real low. Him and Danceland are kind of meleeing each other down on these Guardians, but realize that that's not a good idea, and they both back off, and Dombanaki are able to safely secure their buff.
Dombanaki going through. Oh no, Peaceman gonna come through, forcing Kepriel on himself. Medieval is still here, and Medieval is going to be the one who does a lot of damage. Kepriel wore off, but Peaceman falls back, stuns Medieval, and decides to fall back with it. Medieval gonna pick up that blue buff, and that, I feel like that was kind of a turning point. If Peaceman had been able to pick up that kill, they might have been able to be a little bit more aggressive. But right now, they're I think actually ahead in towers. They're still pretty much dead even in gold, and Domban AK still holding the XP crown.
Seta and Friends had the early advantage here in this game. I believe they were about 3 or 4 kills up, but it has equaled out here now with Domban AK being a little bit ahead instead. A lot of lazy backs this game that are getting pretty well punished here from both teams.
Yeah, lazy backs. I mean, that was just like, if you could just take that clip of Peaceman sitting in the lane, you see Domban AK walking right at him, and yet he did not hesitate. He kept holding it back. And honestly, if it had been maybe just half a second faster, he would have been able to back dance. And going to use a beautiful wall once again to stop the aggression. He still gets knocked up, but he's able to kind of stop any aggression from Domban AK.
I mentioned earlier that to my knowledge, Danceland was a mid main, but it seems that he was a Ymir main in an earlier life here, because his walls has been very much on point this game. Here's another freeze on to Curls. The 2 Guardians battling each other. More actually in the mid lane. Suds getting aggressive on the Zeus ult, ranging down, gets stuck in the portal, and then Ruda not able to get away. Abducted from Curls here. Legendary Leah and Psycho trying to close the kill onto him. Knock on Legendary Leah, Psycho getting the kill. 2 jumps here on the side of Dombaniki, secures that one. Curls putting his ultimate onto Meteor, gets really low. Meteor wanting to die to the fire die, not to anyone else. Danceland gets awarded with the kill. Fight goes on. Champ's getting real low. Arctic is in the air. Legendary Lee, however, gets the kill. Snipes going instead on to the other members of Seta and Friends. And now Arctic is job. He still has his mana. He's still outputting a lot of damage, but he does fall to Setosphere. Now has a double kill. And now we actually see Legendary Leah as the only remaining member of Domban AK trying to do a lazy back, but then she recognizes Seta and Friends are actually starting to Fire Giants.
With Fire Giant going, Legendary Leah unfortunately not having any Wrath available to get the secure, but neither does Zeta and Friends, so this is all going to be pure damage based. You can burst it down fast enough. Zeta Sphere using the dash, just trying to do his best to get away, and I mean, that's just a free Fire Giant right there.
Free Fire Giant after that team fight. We spoke a little bit about Domban AK getting ahead in the terms of XP in this game pretty considerably, but after that game, I think we can safely say that the times have turned.
Absolutely, and that's going to be able to give them a benefit. The only person not having that Fire Giant is going to be Sham here, and that's going to kind of put him in this scenario where I mean, Zetasphere, Dansland, Peaceman, and Suds, pretty much all 5 of them have the ability to go in. Of course, 3 of those being melee. It's going to be a little bit awkward trying to push down towers, but if Sham's missing this Fire Giant, it's not a huge detriment to his team. Of course, it would be beneficial for him to be able to regen the same health and mana that they are, but he still does a lot of damage. He's still going to be able to do that kind of thing. And right now, Arctic looking like a target, but the right-hand towers, I've seen pings countless from Zeta and friends, and the first one finally taken down by Peaceman.
Nice tower focus indeed. Now the gold here being started by Zeta and friends, able to take it for free. The members of Don't Panic, they are close, but they don't want to get it. 2 times speed coming out from Shams here. The old wall coming out from Dance. Artin getting really low here, getting taken out by Peaceman. Psycho 6 and Curse are trying to leave the fight here as there's 5 members on the Zeta and friends chasing them. Actually coming out from Celesphere, there is the taunt from the Erlang Chen. Ymir coming out from down, able to secure the kill onto Curl. Psycho 6 and Legendary Leah now fleeing for their lives, are getting pretty low here, getting chased by Peaceman deep into the Phoenix. Peaceman is not able to get that kill. Phoenix getting real low. Susult coming out here from Medieval as well. Phoenix does fall eventually. 2 members are now down on the side of Don't Panic and Zeta Friends. They're looking for more objectives.
They're going to be able to push their way through the Phoenix, going directly for this tier 2 in mid. The tower stopping them from regressing. I feel like that could have been a second Phoenix if they had wanted it to be, but the tier 2 still being up is going to stop that. Now, honestly, they could probably turn their sights to this right-hand tower. They're kind of walking that way, but they also look like they're going to back as an ultimate getting dropped. Cage, Dansland just going to be trying his best to walk away.
He, however, has that bulwark that is helping him to give a little bit of a health shield, able to sustain that. Definitely he got left alone behind by his team there. This Ymir, who has been the early game carry here, I would say, on the side of Zeta and Friends, has had a lot of team fight impact.
And not only team fight impact, but just like in general. I mean, he's been at the forefront of objectives. He's been at the forefront of kind of contesting anything like mid camps, any kind of jungle buff that he can be at. And Dansland having a large impact, 6, 3, and 7. I mean, earlier, like you had said, the early game carry for their team just coming out. I think he was 4 and 1 at one point, able to kind of do a lot through space and time use just to get the rotation over to stop any pushing on the towers. I like the fact like Zeta and friends are very, very conscious of the map, and it is making it so much easier for them to find themselves footing in this game. There was a point where they were starting to fall behind. We were kind of thinking, okay, Doban AK is getting very ahead and able to win this, but right now they are in the driver's seat, and Medieval is getting the feel of what it's going to be like.
Double kill here for Zetasphere in this solo lane. Saxi coming here to try to defend tower, but he is a little bit alone as Kuros and Arctic are not with him. Arctic forcing out that early sanctuary. Peaceman taking a lot of damage from Psychosic. Now is the time for Arctic to try to get a kill, but those snipes are not doing that much damage to the tanky members of Zeta and Friends, just relieving maybe a little bit of pressure at most. The 2 Phoenixes are exposed here for Don't Ban AK, and Zeta and Friends, they're aggressing onto the right one, and they should get this one for free.
Yeah, so far looking like it's going to fall very fast here. Now going down, Arctic taking a little bit of damage, but going to be able to roll out. Pin coming down, Psycho Sticks using the shield just to stay alive. But Fire Minions pouring in, the Titans damageable, and right now it's going to be the difference of who's splitting what. Ymir ult going to come down, and the Titans looking like it's going to fall.
That is the Susult as well from Don't Panic, trying to save their Titan, getting really low. Almost an overextension for Zeta and Friends. Dansland getting really low, Peaceman getting really low, and so was Zetasphere, but in the end they had enough to burst down that Titan, and that's going to be the game for Zeta and Friends, and that's also going to be the whole tournament.
Able to come out on top, winning those gyms. Probably very happy about that, but also the play right there. That is the kind of call your team has to 100% commit to, right? That is the kind of thing that whoever the shot caller for Zetasphere and Friends was, they had to think, okay, look, this is the play we're going to make. We have to focus the Titan. Like, don't worry too much about getting kills. Don't worry about damaging them. Let's try to poke them out so we can continue aggression onto this Titan. The team listening to it, Dansland ult actually being very beneficial there, allowing them to essentially push that out and get that victory right under the nose of Don't Ban AK.
I think that if you would put a list on the skills used and available in this game and which one had the most team impact, I will definitely treasure the Ymir ult here, pretty highly regarded somewhere alongside Zeus Ultramedial, who was trying to get the return damage on Zed and Friends and Victor, but not quite able to close it. This is ESL Conquest of the Gods, the 25th edition for North America, and we actually do best of 1 finals. So that is going to be it for this fine evening. We want to congratulate Zed and Friends with their victory, walking away with 400 gems. Also, don't ban AK, of course, getting 200 gems for that second spot, and I believe in the 3rd place match, I'm actually not sure who won that one between Mihoy Minoy and Title 6 here. We might have to come back on that one. No, Mihoy Minoy was able to take that 100 gems each for those players as well. I want to thank you, Gormeister, for casting with me here. Lovely evening. I want to thank all of you guys who watched the stream. We will come back with more ESL Cups in the future. Keep an eye on, of course, follow my Discord channel. Follow me on Twitter at Medieval. And also, of course, you should follow Gormeister.
Yeah, I'm also on Twitter, and you can also find me in your beautiful Discord channel as well. You can contact me through there, and if you really need me, I'm available through Twitter DMs as well. And I mean, as always, thank you for having me come out for this. This was a very fun set of games, and floor is yours.
Floor is mine. Thank you guys for watching. We will be back next time.